Hey everyone, this is Joey G with Touch of the Brush Model Weathering, and welcome to episode 8 as we build the Penn-Reading Industrial Division in HO scale. This is the very first part in the beginning stages of the scenery, and so here I am shaving or actually sanding down this road. And the way I built this road is out of a Woodland Scenics incline, just a small piece of incline foam which goes from ground zero up to 2 inches high. And then I added some plaster cloth to cover it, and then a layer of plaster to solidify it and to create the roads here. And so I am cleaning off the excess plaster, that way it makes it nice and smooth to look like a road. And then on the sides I added a culvert along with some rock molds just to give it some side scenery, I guess you call it. And so as you can see here, this is before I painted the sides of the layout black, and you'll see how unison looks on later on. Actually, in probably the previous video you saw the difference. And so here are some of the different kinds of materials we are going to use. We are using Woodland Scenics. We're using, I believe, Scenic Express, Pecky, Notch, is how you say it. All different kinds of materials. And so I am vacuuming up all the different particles and dust from the plaster and just all different kinds of stuff that was laying on the layout. And after that, it's time to go to my little library here and check out what we're going to use as inspiration. So here's a Pennsylvania facilities book, and it does have some pictures of the Wilkes-Barre branch, which I'm modeling here. And so looking at the colors and the style of the different yards and the ballast, and I even looked at a New York Harbor book because I like some of the photos on how some of the yards look like as well. And so you can use all different sorts of books. I could use something from Europe, and well, maybe not, I don't know, but even some of the stuff you can look in Europe and it'll look great in the US too. So we are masking off all the track work, and we're going to get that all done. That way we can start spraying the glue for the ground cover. And so I'm using just simple cheap Elmer's glue, and I got a cup of water, and I wet that paintbrush. That spreads the glue, plus it won't make all of the scenery like big blobs or clobs of stuff, just, you know. And plus you have to save glue too, so this is what really helps. And you see, you spread that glue nice and flat, it really does make a big difference. And then while that glue is wet, of course, I sifted actually I do have an excess amount of this extra ballast / dirt from the rail yard that I used on the cassette number 2, and so I used that all throughout. I work from the back to the front, that way my stomach won't get in the way. So here we are using some dead grass or burnt grass, and this gives it a nice layer and base layer to start working off of. And then here I am just cleaning up all the different edges, and I still have so much dust on the layout that after this dried, I think I went back with the vacuum cleaner a second and third time. So after that's all clean, I decided that the color concrete will be a nice color to start off with. I did layer this road using concrete pigment from Woodland Scenics along with stone gray. And then I added maybe a little bit of Anita's Acrylics Flat Black just to give it some depth and some weathering to make it look like a road. And I did all this while the paint was wet, so it blends in. And to constantly layer it while it's wet, you get the kind of color you want to use. And here I'm using a earth color, and I think this is the Woodland Scenics pigment. It's just to cover up, yeah, it's a Woodland Scenics pigment. and it's just to really cover up all the white from the plaster. There are going to be little hillsides there, some shrubbery, some trees, and that little space in the middle there, that's going to be a tower. And so here I'm using that color to go all around the rocks and the culvert. Obviously, we're doing this really, really fast, I can see. But here we are going to be adding glue to the sides here. And I off camera actually did a lot of the scenery work, and I think it was because I just wanted to enjoy doing the scenery work. This is my favorite part of model railroading, is the scenery. And I think it's because I didn't want to have to film, I just wanted to enjoy doing this. So what I did first was add that glue, spread that glue around, and then I added all different kinds of dirts and different kinds of shrubbery from Woodland Scenics and Scenic Express. I used, I would say, a lot of the tall grass from Hecky. I think Heckies make the tall grass, and I used some static grass too. And also, let's see, I'm trying to think off the top of my head, because I'm doing this while the video's going. Oh, here's some dirt. There's some real actual dirt that I'm using here too, some crushed up leaves. And yeah, I think that's from Hecky. Yeah, I think that's Hecky grass. And also here, let's see, I think this video is actually repeated, but that's okay. We'll continue talking about the different stuff I have used. And also, I used a lot of the different kinds of shrubbery. I used a lot of the polyfiber that I had left. I used different kinds of, I think, like blackberry bushes, sage bushes. I can't remember what exactly that I used. You could buy from Woodland Scenics and Scenic Express, and this actually makes it look really, really realistic, especially if you don't want to use larger trees. You want to use just a little small shrubbery along the tracks, or even along the road like I'm doing here. This will actually help, and it looks really, really nice. And so, like I said, I didn't really do much on camera on this portion here, but like you'll see in the later photos and videos that how we're gonna do it. Now I am sealing the rocks. After I used the pigments, I used stone gray, and I leopard spotted, some yellow ochre, and a little bit of just regular flat brown paint, acrylic paint. And then I sealed all of the rocks, so that way the paint won't come off really. And here I am using that slate gray. I use slate gray on this along with stone gray on top of that, on top of the road here. And I did actually go back and made it darker because it was way too light for me, for what I liked. So here is a before shot, and then we're going to go to an after shot here. And here we go. Look at that. See what a big difference just a little bit of scenery does. And you can see I made a roadway up to the tower. There's some extra leftover mains away equipment. There's the end of the road, the end of the line right there for the road. Just the scene to me is so effective, and I'm so happy that I followed Boomer Diorama's idea of putting the scenery in front of the trains. And this is a concept that's been going on for generations of model railroaders. And so here is a video of the Pennsylvania Railroad Coal Train that runs from Sunbury up to Wilkes-Barre. And in Wilkes-Barre, it actually interchanges with, I believe, the Delaware and Hudson. And the Delaware and Hudson takes it to the different power plants up further north out of Pennsylvania. So guys, thank you so much for watching. This is part one. We're going to go to part two next, showing how to make the parking lot and start the station scene and some of the other stuff that I have worked on. And so since we're going to be starting a new layout, look forward to the next videos coming soon. You guys take care. This is Joey G with Touch of the Brush Model Weathering. Thank you so much again, and you guys have a great week.